Aloha passengers.
Makes Tour Diaries presents
Aloha to the grind. Paradise under pressure.
Presented by Make Your Story.
What's up, you golf sickos? On today's episode of Makes Tour Diaries, we're heading to Hawaii to tee off at the Tides Fairways Open.
Aloha from paradise. We're back on the islands for the epic finale of the Tides Fairways Open. I'll be your reporter today. Name's Guren Shirotori, your resident edgelord.
Presented by
MESN. All eyes on the virtual game.
Sun, surf, and pressure. It's been a wild week here in Hawaii. The stakes are high and the waves are higher. Welcome to the final round of Makes Tour Diaries. The grind doesn't stop, but sometimes the game humbles us. Every swing tells a story, and today's tale, it's complicated. From chasing dreams to chasing bogeys, let's talk about it. Make, take us inside your head. What was going through your mind?
Standing on the first tee, I'll tell you what, the first thing I really noticed was just how beautiful the course is, the scenery. And I try to not let that distract me from just making good, committed golf shots out there. And I really wanted to prove myself this week, so I really wanted to go out and perform as best as I could. It wasn't always easy, but I feel like looking back on this round, there was a lot of good and a lot of bad that I could take from it. But no, I mean, me and my caddy had a really good mindset, a really good setup going into this tournament. And, I'm sticking with my confidence. The first round didn't go so hot. Unfortunately, not able to post the number that we wanted, which was a 2-under number. And we just had to get out there, get on the course, get on the greens, and try to make some putts and see if we can't put some some good numbers up there.
So that's...
Also just want to mention too is just the great hospitality of this week's Tides Fairways Open. Unbelievable service. Everybody at the hotels were nice, and credit to early 1981 and his crew to get the course ready for in tournament shape. And of course the course management and to the designer of the golf course, because it was a great test, and I can't wait to come back here next year and see if we can't tear it back up.
Sometimes it's not about the score. It's about how you respond.
Yeah, and you know what? Absolutely. When we were coming off of round one, me and my caddy looked at each other, and we knew we had a lot of work we had to put in to be successful in round two. And that meant getting out in the golf course and grinding out what we need to work on, including our short game. Our putts just were off. Our wedge game was off. And really just the swing didn't feel that great. I don't know if it was the Hawaiian sun getting to me or just maybe the conditions. The wind's pretty tight out there coming off the ocean. So, and it's just, like I said, it's just a different environment to play in if you're not used to it. So we really had to buckle up and just put our head to the grindstone and see if we can't get a good score, even though as pretty as it looks, Do
you feel like you played your game today? Or did the pressure take over?
Yeah, I definitely didn't play my game today. And yeah, I do think there's a hint of pressure, and maybe more pressure than I would like to admit going into these golf tournaments. I feel like my game is almost there, but it's just not at the level that I expect it to be. And so it really puts us in difficult positions when we're trying to grind out good scores. And sometimes it just doesn't happen that way. A lot of missed putts, a lot of misreading on wedge shots, and just my swing, just as I mentioned earlier, it just off the first tee, making that first swing, I felt tight. I didn't feel loose. I felt like I was overthinking a lot of it. And you can't do that when you go out on the golf course in a tournament atmosphere.
Was there a moment out there where you thought, this just isn't my day?
I think it was on the first tee. Yeah, I think when I was stepped up and made the first swing, although I struck it in the sweet spot of the driver, it just felt tight. And I felt like at any moment you can kind of lose it. I don't know, and maybe anyone who's ever played competitive golf kind of understands what I'm, saying this. And this is a great example. This is just an awful hole.
Now that you mention it, that did happen.
But, sometimes you go out into the golf course and you get into these golf tournaments and your swing feels like you can almost grasp it, and at any moment you can just lose it. And this is the perfect whole example where I completely lost my swing. Felt like we read the play right. I felt like we read the conditions and how to set up for this kind of baby cut into the green off the wind, and I just did not put a good swing on the ball.
Okay.
And it's tough to explain, but sometimes you just have it and sometimes you just don't. And for this tournament especially, I didn't have it. I did not have my best stuff, and I'm disappointed to say that.
We talk about the grind a lot, but this is what the grind looks like.
Yeah, and you know what, Guren? Me and my caddy, we do a lot of work, on our practice facility back home, and yeah, it is. It's a lot of work that people don't realize putting into our golf game day in and day out to be successful. And when you have results and you have days like today, it's disheartening. Now, the one cool thing I will say about playing in Hawaii when you're not playing good is that it does feel like a little vacation. At some points you just kind of have to let yourself go, and I think around this time I started just to kind of ease up a little bit. But sometimes I can come up and bite you in the ass if you're not careful.
Every bounce, every break, it just wasn't meant to be.
And so a beautiful example of what I mean. You just kind of lose sense of your swing.
Okay.
It wasn't, and that's just the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. If you don't have a good swing on that day and the course is playing pretty tough, especially with wind conditions, and that ball can be flying anywhere. You could try to, hit a little 120 baby cut into the fairway, but all of a sudden your ball is just swinging out to the right, and you don't even know how it happened, And so those are little mental toughness breaks that you just kind of have to fight through, and that's really hard. But like I said, being in Hawaii feels like a vacation. You get to soak up the sun while you're out there and think about all the cool stuff you get to indulge yourself in after the round. So can't say I was 100% disappointed in my round, which I was, but at least you kind of have some stuff to fall back on after the fact. A couple drinks and a couple good nights, and you'll be good to go for the next one.
Golf doesn't care about how bad you want it, and today it showed.
Yeah, hole 7. This was a really pretty hole, by the way. I want to give a shout out to the course designer here in Hawaii who really made this golf course really scenic, and the way he was able to shape his fairway and his greens up against this beautiful waterfall backdrop. And I was stunning. Like, I know I didn't play well. I know the course was tough, but man, this was such a cool course to play. And I'm really happy I got to experience it, despite my awful round. Me and the caddy, Jinja, we're going back and forth about just how beautiful this place was, and can't wait to come back with some more, better game and some tequilas on hand. We should have snuck some in our golf bag. I think it would have made the round much less painful.
The fairways got tighter, the greens got faster, and the confidence shaky.
But yeah, just a beautiful scenic backdrop here. And you know what, Guren? You hit the nail on the head. I had no confidence at this point. My swing was just out the door, out the window, and I'm just trying to survive. I had to get through the round as much as I didn't want to, as much as I just wanted to throw in the towel.
Okay.
Just wanted to swing through my progressions, just try to play my game as best I could in these tough situations.
So that's why.
I remember me and my caddy, he looked at me going into this hole, right after we got past the waterfall, and he's like, man, listen, he's like, I know we're loosening up a little bit. He's like, but just stay focused for me. He said, let's just take one shot at a time, see if we can't try to get some good looks, and just for pride. And I said, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So we went out there and tried to reshape my mental thinking a little bit. And this is kind of, I was just trying to steady the ship at this point, right?
Okay.
Obviously, it's either easier said than done, but I think we were able to kind of do that.
The road to mastery isn't paved in wins. It's paved in rounds like this.
Exactly. And that fits perfect to what me and my caddy were talking about, especially going into this kind of inland side of the course where kind of get away from the water, away from the distractions. You can kind of focus up a little bit more, try to hit the shots you need to hit. And on this hole specifically, I remember thinking, I don't know if driver's going to be enough to get there. And he's like, listen, just trust me on this one. We've been hitting it good. So I smoked it, beautiful shot in the fairway. And I do remember hitting a pretty decent wedge in. And just trying to make something good out of this terrible round. And that's what you have to do in these competitive tournaments. It's not always going to be, especially, well, I guess it will be here in Hawaii. It's always sunshine and rainbows.
Sometimes you chase greatness and end up face down in the sand trap of reality.
Yeah. And this is a real moment to kind of key in on. When you're battling it out and your score is just not where it needs to be, you just have to focus up and find the little wins. And that's what me and my caddy did. We said, what's the little wins? What's the little shots we can take here to pride ourselves on? Knowing that, as far as the tournament goes, we're out of it. There's no sense in continuing that. And this was a perfect sand trap to basically explain like the reality we were in. Decent shot, but just rolling off into the sand trap. And that's life, and that's how golf is. You just have to play the shots you're given and keep rolling with it. Just try to have a good attitude about it. And I think that's the toughest part. Anyone could say that the mental side of golf is the hardest, but until you're out there competing in tournaments and things start to fall apart, it's hard to kind of think about that. But yeah, it puts into perspective. Mental is the hardest part about it, and you do have to have a good attitude going into it. And I like to pride myself on always having a good attitude. I think that's one of my strongest skill sets to have.
Okay.
But it doesn't help when you're 12 over and you're just kind of being a body out there.
Looking back at it, would you have approached this round any differently?
I'll be honest. I don't think me and my caddy would have. We prepared like we normally would. We did everything we needed to do prior to the golf tournament. And there are just days you have your swing on fire, and there are days where your swing's just not there. And yeah, I wish it was. And I wish I could say that we prepared so much that our swings were just that good, but that's not reality, right? So, like I said at the very beginning of the show, my swing just felt tight. I just didn't feel like I could grab it. I felt like it was just, I was trying to find things that weren't there. And so that's not like a really preparation issue. That's more of a in the moment swing issue. But I think the step to fixing that would be to go back home, regroup, refigure out my swing and go from there, right? And I think me and my caddy, we're going to work together really, really hard after this round and figure out what we can do right to go out there and compete for golf tournaments. Because that's what we want to do this year. We don't want to just go out there and have a good time. We want to go out there and set the course on fire with some really good shots. That's the best part about it, right? That's just a part of golf in general. And yeah, I think that's kind of our plan, or that was our thinking after the fact too. But during the rounds, we talked about it.
This is where the story bends, but not where it breaks.
Yeah, just steadying the ship right here. I mean, we get back 12 over with a nice birdie there. And yeah, that's about it. Little wins. That's all we have to do. I challenge anyone who's ever been in these situations to fight and keep fighting, because I think that shows your character more than anything. So yeah, I mean, that's easier said than done, obviously, but listen,
Okay.
this course is, I've said it 1,000 times, it's such a beautiful golf course with a beautiful design. It was just kind of fun just to play it in general, despite my frustrations with how I was playing, despite everything going on. It made the little wins easier if you can play beautiful golf courses like this. So yeah, I enjoyed it.
No trophies today, but maybe some truth.
Yeah, no kidding. No trophies, nothing to show except for maybe some hangovers after this round, to be honest with you. But I mean, the hard truth is we just didn't have our stuff today. I think we prepared well. I think we were ready for this golf course and this tournament. But that's golf. Sometimes you just have it.
I see.
Yeah. I would say a lot of these holes, and I think this is one of the reasons why I enjoy this golf course, it does make you kind of think about your shot a little bit more than you would. Like in this case, your eyes are drawn to specific avenues of this course, and you kind of have to just really focus in on your shot. Otherwise, it can get away from you in a hurry. And if it gets away from you on this golf course, you're in big trouble. On top of that, like you mentioned earlier, Guren, my confidence was just very shaky today. I couldn't read my putts. I couldn't really hit my golf shots like I wanted to. And I think a lot of that really just comes down to, I'm not going to say it was nerves or even leaderboard pressure, but at this point, looking back on it, yeah, I don't know. It's just some things you can't explain, but definitely my swing was not on.
In paradise, even dreams can drown.
Paradise. Yeah, paradise for the worst golf shots you could ever see. I mean, it just was not there for me. But, I'm going to look back on this day, and I'm going to look back on this round, and I think I'm going to be stronger for it. A lot of times we can kind of be down in our own self-pity. But I think for me personally, looking at this kind of golf shot and looking at this golf course, I still enjoyed it. I still had a really fun time. I got to cut up with the guys and hang out with a lot of early 1981's crew. And, they're just a bunch of awesome people who help put on these fantastic tournaments and matches. So, it's not all doom and gloom. Trying to see the bright side of things. It was a hell of an experience for sure. But, I can't wait to come back next year and hopefully regain my confidence and come out here and shoot some good scores. But, at the end of the day, I didn't come here to lose. I wanted to come out here and actually compete and win in this golf tournament, and I just didn't perform that well today to do so. And, there's no one out here to blame except for myself. And, but that's okay. That's okay. We're going to learn from it. We're going to do better next time, and this is the perfect point in the round where I refocused and I was able to kind of go back-to-back birdies here and really fine-tune what I needed to do.
Okay.
It's kind of go back to myself. I still wasn't swinging great, but I was at least playing the golf course the way that it needed to be played. I'm not trying to force shots. I'm kind of letting the shots come to me. And yeah, and on this opening 18th hole here, listen, I was just really glad to see the green. I was so happy to get on the green and just get ready to get the ball in the hole and head to the clubhouse, because man, I don't know if I could ever feel this exhausted ever again, but it was definitely an experience. the one that I'll never forget. You know what? I can't wait to come back here next year, like I said, and I'm going to be stronger for it. These next tournaments I'm coming into, I'm going to be ready for them. I'm going to go out there, shoot low scores, and compete for championships. That's my goal, Guren.
The grind continues. The dream stays alive. Until next time, this is MESN. This was your reporter, Guren Shirotori, signing off from Hawaii.
Thank you, Guren. Have a good day, man. I really appreciate it. We'll see y'all next time. If you like this episode of Makes Tour Diaries here in Hawaii, please make sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys next time.